Let's get on the box on the radio with Chris Philpott at stuff.co.nz, the On the Box blog over there. Chris, good morning to you.
Hey, how are you?
Very well, thank you very much. First up, though, some very surprising news. Not that I'm a fan of the show, haven't watched it because I heard how crap it is, but it's been cancelled. It's Terra Nova.
Yeah, Terra Nova's had the rug pulled out from under it. The plug has been pulled, as it were. It's airing at the moment on TV3. You can see it 7:30 on Saturdays. But it's been cancelled by Fox over in the States after just one season. Now, what the word is that it's being shopped around to other networks to see if anyone wants to pick it up, because it actually rated okay. It was rating around about 10 million viewers in the States, which is not fantastic, but would put it in the top third of all shows as far as ratings go.
Right.
So it was actually doing pretty good numbers. I think what the problem was for Fox is that they couldn't justify the cost of the show. It averages about $4 million an episode to produce, which is quite a bit higher than the average for television dramas. So, I mean, that's why Fox have cancelled it, but it's being shopped around. Personally, I think it's kind of a devastating blow for television in a way, because there's this whole... Sorry?
Is it? Or
well, in a way it kind of is, because like Terra Nova was a bad example is a bad example of a sci-fi show, but it did make room for sci-fi on mainstream networks. There isn't that much on at the moment.
Look, if it's going to be bad sci-fi, I'd rather no sci-fi.
Well, I think the problem is that now people won't even try good sci-fi on their networks because of the failure of Terra Nova, you know? It kind of works that way, where now people will be apprehensive about doing a show. Lost
was sci-fi, right? And Terra Nova was just trying to be a new Lost, surely.
No. It's kind of like Lost meets Jurassic Park, but if it was done by amateurs.
Right.
It's not a great show, really. But the point I'm making is that it was an hour of sci-fi on TV, or in New Zealand at least, it is an hour of sci-fi on TV. And if networks are going to be apprehensive about making sci-fi on a big scale like that, then that's a loss for audiences.
Okay, all right. Maybe leave. Well, yeah, okay. Yep. This piece of news, something good happening for a local New Zealand actor.
Yeah, Jay Ryan, who people will know as the lead on Go Girls, he plays Kev on Go Girls, has been cast in a US remake of Beauty and the Beast. So he's starting that job. It's a new pilot being developed by the CW. The storyline of the American Beauty and the Beast is crazy. Basically, you know Beauty and the Beast as being, the princess meets the beast and they fall in love despite his looks and all that stuff.
Yeah, but
This version is the Beauty is a cop and the Beast is a superhero, and the cop is protecting the superhero's identity. And something crazy like this. It sounds really quite interesting, but I mean, it's big news for Jay Ryan. It's a huge role for him. We'll put him on the international stage, and his star will be rising pretty substantially. Speculation now is pretty rife that he's going to be leaving Go Girls.
Right. Well, as you would.
There's a rumor going around that he might even be leaving middle of this season that's airing at the moment, but it hasn't been confirmed by anyone. Although, if you saw last night's episode, there was a story element that's come in that would make a good excuse for him to be pushed out of the show. So,
well, good on him for getting cast. I grew up with the 1980 CBS series of The Beauty and the Beast, and he lived down in the sewers. It was all very, very 80s. But he had a kind of like a cat-like face, and just looking at Jay Ryan, he's kind of like he's got cat eyes as well. If you look at him. You see what I mean?
I guess I don't normally think about animals when I look at actors on TV.
He would be a cat.
But I guess, with enough makeup, anyone can be made to look like an animal, I suppose. Some people maybe need less than others. So they possibly could have just cast Ron Perlman from Sons of Anarchy and they wouldn't have needed any makeup.
True.
So, it kind of depends on what you do there, really.
All right, onto the TV review. It was the Battle of the Titans, 60 Minutes versus Sunday, on Sunday, with two ex-cons, or I don't know what to call them, but anyway, interviews, big feature interviews.
two former jailbirds, I think you would call them.
Yeah.
So 60 Minutes had an extended interview. It was about 40 minutes long with David Bain, pitching it as his first interview since everything went down a few years ago. And then on Sunday they had David Tamahiri, who's been around at the moment. He's kind of in the media a little bit now. He's demanding a retrial. He's still saying he didn't kill the two Swedish tourists he was accused of killing and charged with killing. And basically the two interviews went head to head. But it got me thinking, there's been a really good response to these interviews. And another one that happened was Kim.com's interview on Campbell Live last week, which was just a fantastic half an hour of television, and all props to TV3. They did a really good job with that. But the response to these interviews has been overwhelmingly positive. People have been, raving about them. I did a blog about them on Monday, and the comments were overwhelmingly positive. And I wonder why the current affairs shows aren't going for this kind of stuff more often. Why aren't they getting these big name interviews and really doing a decent job of interviewing these people instead of relying so heavily on American content? 60 Minutes often is one New Zealand story and two or three American stories.
Probably because we're run out of compelling, convict stories.
Well, I wondered. I think that probably is the main reason. I don't know if it needs to be convicts every week, but I think surely there's enough decent New Zealand stories to do it every week, isn't there?
Well, I absolutely agree. There definitely are, but not stuff that's going to rate, not stuff that's going to compel to the mainstream.
That's true, I suppose. Yeah, but they do seem to rely heavily on American content. What do you think of the American stuff that comes through? Because I often find that it's completely irrelevant. It just goes in one ear and out the other. Even on Sunday, we had the David Bain interview, and straight after that on 60 Minutes was a Taylor Swift story, and I just turned the TV off. Yeah. I don't care about her.
Unless it is something that vaguely affects us, like, say, it's an Obama interview or an Al Gore interview or something like that. But often, you're right, it's Taylor Swift or it's Brad Pitt or something.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I find... or I noticed anyway with the ratings that it was a ratings boom for them. 60 Minutes especially jumped up about 130,000 viewers for their Bain interview. So it seems like it would be a good move to make in terms of a good business decision to make as well, not just a content decision.
We need more criminals.
Well, maybe that's what it is. We just keep breaking people out of prison and then interview them and then put them back again or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That might be what we do.
I don't know. If they could get the interview with Graham Capel, that would be interesting. Moving right along to what we shouldn't be watching because it's not on TV here yet, although it has the new series has started on TV2. But if you can't wait for that, then you've probably been downloading it and watching it from overseas. Of course, it is The Walking Dead, episode number 11 this week. I saw it last night, and finally, someone died. Thank goodness.
I think you were pretty close to starting an online petition to get someone on the show killed.
Yeah.
Last time we talked, it was a big deal for you. I suppose we should say that there's going to be massive spoilers right now. So if you don't want to have The Walking Dead spoiled, maybe block your ears for a minute.
You really do have to switch off unless you want to be spoiled. Yeah. So what you wouldn't want me to say who died?
You can say it if you like.
No, I don't think I need to say it. I just need to say that I'm satisfied that one of these stupid, idiotic, boring-ass characters got booted off the show, and then now they need to deal with the other 99%.
The 99% of the rest of the characters?
Yes.
It's an interesting move. I think I haven't seen the episode, so I could be wrong on this, but it seemed to me from just reading the reviews, reading the responses online to the show, that it was just kind of dragging its heels. Every week was just the same as last week and the same as the week before. And you wonder if a move like this, one character dying, it seemed like at the hands inadvertently of another character who did something that caused, a butterfly effect, as it were. And you wonder if that will pump a little bit of life into the show, reinvigorate the story, get the viewers back excited, back invested in the show. And that's my point there.
There's an interesting thread. This is a minor of a spoiler alert, but there is an interesting thread where they've got a captive and whether or not they're going to kill him or not. I think that was a kind of a moral conundrum going on there. That was very cool. But people might be wondering why I stick in there and keep on watching it every week. I think it's still for the zombie kills. I'm still hanging out for the zombie kills because they do it so well. There's been some great zombie kills in the past 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the hook of the show, isn't it? I mean, it's going to appeal to zombie fans, zombie movie fans, but, I mean, there is the other side of it too, which it's not doing well, and you look at it from a critical perspective, the performances aren't great, the storylines haven't been that great this season compared to the first season, so it's kind of lacking there, and I think killing off a main character or two, I believe there's another major death coming up before the end of the season as well.
Excellent.
Might
do away with the kid. Get rid of the kid.
Storyline.
I want them to kill the kid.
Oh, I don't know if they'll do that. That seems a bit morbid, doesn't it? Kill off the only child left in the world, maybe?
Yeah. All right, what's coming up on TV this week?
Well, everything's just kind of ticking along, so there's no new shows. But I can recommend Justified, which is on tonight around 10:50 p.m. on 1. That's really hitting its stride. The second season has about 4 episodes to go, and it's really gotten very good in the last couple of weeks, so make sure you tune in for that. Once Upon a Time is airing on Thursday nights, 8:30 on TV2. Now, it's a fantasy show dealing with Snow White and the Wicked Witch, and Red Riding Hood is in there, but don't let that put you off. It's actually gotten really good in the last couple of weeks as well. The Good Word, which is a book review show, is back for its 4th season on TVNZ7. It's airing on Fridays at 9:05 and Tuesdays at 9:30. That's a really good watch, and quite enlightening too as to what's out there, and putting the focus back on books, I think, is a big thing as well.
Interesting, great show, but with the most off-putting title music and intro that would just makes you want to switch off straight away.
Well, I mean, TVNZ7 as a whole really haven't put much money into the intro music for their shows, so let's not even go down that track.
Yeah.
And then Wanna Ben on Friday nights, 10 p.m. on TV3. Now, the first series was no good. I thought it was good in parts, but it was really inconsistent, kind of 50% good, 50% really cringeworthy. The new season is about 3 or 4 episodes in. It's only a short season now, but it's really hit its stride. He's doing all the right things. They've cut out all of the cringy parts and just filled it up with really funny interviews, really funny cutscenes, and little challenges for Ben to do, and it's a really, really funny half hour. Definitely worth watching.
Cool. All right, that is On the Box on the radio. Check out the blog over at stuff.co.nz in the entertainment section. Also, Chris Philpott NZ on Twitter. We'll see you next week.
Cool, we'll see you then.